Many thanks to Chris Goldfinger. Wicked stuff. Catch Chris each and every Saturday, 12 till 2. Now it's time for drum and bass, kicking off with the sound of Papua New Guinea, the drum and bass re-rub 2008 style. It's Fabio, it's Radio 1. This is how we do. What a way to start the show. One of my favourite house tunes of all time, Papua New Guinea, originally done by the Future Sound of London. That is the drum and bass re-rub for 2008. First released in 2005, and that's a retweak, and that's a new word as well. It's Fabio, it's drum and bass. We've got a show for you tonight, as we usually do have, but tonight's show is full of content, full of action. We've got Sub Focus, Yeah, Subfocus, he's got his album coming out real soon. He has been one of the brightest new names in drum and bass over the last couple of years. He's coming in, spinning a few old, a few new, and we're going to be talking about what the future holds for Subfocus. We've got the Radio 1 and 1 extra D&B Chart Top 10. Some Gunny's going to be happening this week. I know it's unseasonal, but I'm going in because we've had too much summer business going on. Tonight, we go deep, we go ghetto, we go gully a little bit later on. We've got some Facebook shouts coming up later as well. Rounding off the show with Dillinja recorded live in the mix at Detonate in Nottingham. And we've also got D&B on the BBC with the mighty Bailey choosing us something pretty gully, actually, to go with the theme of the show tonight. So all of this coming up in the next few hours. It's Fabio, it's drum and bass. Glad to have you here. The sound of BCee and Lomax featuring Deeizm. Getting on a bit of a roll, a little vocal styly. Loving this, a track called 1 Year Back. Big it up, all my Swerve crew. Big up to Phil. He's in the house, I'm watching my sandwiches, dog. I'm going to tell you a little story about Phil and my sandwiches a little bit later. But Phil's in the house tonight, no Sarah. But it's all good. It's Fabio, it's Radio 1. It's Saturday night, it's Sunday morning.
It's Saturday night, it's Radio 1. It's drum and bass time. Bass time.
Before the storm, going through some vocal business. The sound of BCee and Lomax, 1 year on. Track that's been around for a little while. Never played it. I was flicking through my CDs earlier and I thought, you know what? This tune is nice, man. So, big up to Lomax, who I was out in Austria with a few weeks ago watching the football. He's a Man U fan and Brian G's a Chelsea fan. I tell you what, it nearly came to blows. Calm down, lad. Come on. It's only a game. That didn't go down well at all. Yeah, we have Subfocus. Of course, his big track. Like the body rock of 2008, Timewarp. We're going to be talking about that track. We're going to be talking about the album. We're going to be talking about Subfocus, trust me. He's coming up real soon. We got the BBC Radio 1 and 1 Extra chart. Last week's number 1 was Machete. I'm betting it will be number 1 again this week, but we shall have to wait and see. Right, from one sublime bit of vocal D&B to another. Now, this track is one of my favourite tracks from last year. It's Zero T with Steo, who are going to be on the show real soon. Track called Refusal, remixed by Calibre, and I just think this is wonderful. Big shout going out to Dominic, also to Zero T and Steo, all the CIA crew, everyone responsible for putting this album together. Good stuff, lads. The Calibre remix, world exclusive. Heard it first on Radio 1.
With Fabio.
Sound of Zero T featuring Steo, the Calibre remix. That is a real grower. Check that out. Right, we have got the BBC Radio 1 and 1 Extra D&B chart. Remember, you can catch this chart each and every Wednesday with Bailey, who is our guest tonight on D&B on the BBC. And that's where we scour the network, find everyone who's loving D&B to play their favourite drum and bass tunes. We got Bailey tonight, the man himself, and he's got a killer, a real gully killer. So we've got Bailey coming up a little bit later, but remember, catch this show each and every Wednesday with Bailey. Last week's number 1 was Machete. Can this be unseated? I doubt it. We'll have to see right now. At 10, Danny Byrd. From the album Supersized on Hospital Records, Down 1. 9. G-Dub been in the charts for a minute now. Forever BCee on Ganja Records, Down 6. 8. The man of the moment, Hazard, Skankers on Frontline, Down 1. 7. DJ Pleasure, Colt 45 on Blueprint, up 1. 6. Number 6, TC, Where's My Money, the Clipz remix on D-Style, new entry. 5. Calibre from the Overflow album on Signature, Down 3. 4. Hanging on in there, High Contrast, Kiss Kiss, Bang Bang, the Jonny L remix on Hospital, up 1. 3. Zen and the Hovercraft on Bridge UK, up 1. 2. Number 2, Dillinja, who's going to be recorded live in the mix a little bit later on. Grimey on Valve Records, the highest new entry this week. 1. I told ya. That was quite predictable. Number 1 this week, and I think for the next few weeks, until Timewarp comes out. So this is all kind of like tenuous links. But number 1 is DJ Hazard, the Machete on Playaz.
They called him Machete. He knows the score.
Coming up straight after this, we have the man behind Timewarp, Sub-Focus in the house, straight up after the charts.
Oh, yes. Machete. Machete. He was given an offer he couldn't refuse. The women. Called him Machete. He knows the score. He gets the women. And he kills the bad guys. He was given an offer he couldn't refuse. Machete. Machete. He was given an offer he couldn't refuse.
there. A former guest on our show, Hazard, and what a nice guy he was, man. Really down to earth, really real, and I'm really happy that everything's popping off for him so big. Machete, big up to Hype as well. All the Playaz crew was over Playaz a couple of weeks ago. That night is still absolutely banging, man. And that's at the each of every month on a Friday. Playaz at Fabric, big things going on. Talking about big things popping, now every now and again a tune comes along that kind of defines the year or defines a moment so well. And there's been a few tunes in the history of drum and bass that have done it. The last tune I can remember like this that really had that impact but was so abstract and so different was Body Route. And coincidentally, on the same label, the track that I'm talking about, Timewarp, an amazing tune. The guy behind that tune, Sub Focus, is here. What is happening, Sub Focus?
Yo, man, I'm good, thanks.
Right, you know what? The first question I'm going to ask you is quite a random one. How did you come up with your name, man? I think that name is so cool. Sub Focus is a cool name, man.
It's completely random, man. I needed a name, and I wanted something that sounded kind of abstract, I guess, and sounded a little bit sounds kind of a weird thing to say, sounded a little bit Latin-y, you know, like kind of like the sub, the focus, sounds a bit like and I just felt it rolled off the tongue. I was, you know, coming up with loads of different names, and that one sounded good, you know, that sounded like something that people would remember, and it sounded like easy to say as well. You know what, it's really funny, a name kind of takes on a life of its own, doesn't it? I think, yeah, definitely. Because you couldn't be called anything else but Sub Focus. Nothing else would really fit. It's strange, like, you kind of get sick of your own artist name. I'm sure you've probably got the same thing as well, man. But do you find that you have a kind of alter ego, that Sub Focus is slightly different from the real you? No, I think that's called schizophrenia, actually. Yeah. But anyway, let's crack on. And how did you start in the game? And you're not from New Zealand, let's get that straight. No, I'm from London. Whereabouts was you born? North London? Or? I was born pretty near here, man, at around, sort of, grew up around BCee sort of area. Okay. And I've lived in Kent for a bit, and I sort of moved back to London about 5 years ago. And really, I've just been into this whole thing from a really young age, man. I started sort of making tunes when I was about 13. Just messing around on an old Acorn computer, and then I started mixing 3 years later, and I've just been into the whole sort of drum and bass or electronic music vibe from a very long time, man. But from the very start, you've had your own take on drum and bass. A Sub Focus tune sounds like a Sub Focus tune. Was that conscious? Did you sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to do something different? And the reason why I ask you this, because it's so hard for a lot of new artists to come up with something new, to come up with something original, and you have, and that must have been really difficult. Or is it just the Sub Focus sound? Well, it's just something that's evolved over time, really. You know, like when I was making tunes before I was releasing stuff, I was trying out all sorts of different styles. So, you know, I've had a long time to kind of develop it, and I realised over the last few years there are certain things that I really like. You know, I think it's hard if you never really realise what your own style is until people start defining it for you, I've found. So it's not all that calculated. It's just the sort of music that I want to hear. Yeah, you know, I like that kind of, I guess I always go for kind of quite chugging drums and very big sounding stuff and very synthetic sound. And that's just because I guess that's just because I like the sound of that stuff. So it's something that's happened organically, I guess. So a young Sub Focus, what was you into, like, in your kind of, like, you know, when you was 10, 11? What kind of stuff was you? Was you a musical person, or was you a scholar? Was you a real, like, right, I'm going to be a doctor, or I'm going to work in PC World? What was it? What was it for you? Well, I was really into music from about that age. I was originally really into a lot of rock music, so people like Nirvana and Pearl Jam, like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. So I guess all the grunge stuff. I was into some metal stuff as well, and and the production really came out of that, because I was in a band when I was around that age, so pretty young. I was playing like bass guitar and stuff, and I started wanting to write stuff. So I looked into the software and kind of got really
got really, really into that side of it, and it's just progressed from there. But it was always just something I did for fun for years. I was never really thinking about doing it for, to make a living. It wasn't like a grand sort of, it wasn't like a master plan.
Right.
Just something that evolved, because I thought, maybe if I'm spending so much time doing this, I should actually try and make something of it.
So anyway, listen, let's come to the track. Timewarp. We were speaking off air, and you was telling me, well, this kind of came about by accident, man. Tell us the story behind this.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I guess it came about from I listened to a lot of different types of music, and I was listening to a lot of techno at the time, and there was one tune with this incredible sound that I had to recreate. And once I'd done that, I kind of put in these 4/4 beats, because I really wanted to do something like that, and it just kind of happened like naturally,
just kind of morphed into
just all these ideas sort of came together. And it's great, because I really try, my kind of mission is to make drum and bass that doesn't sound like regular drum and bass, and I really feel like I pulled that off with this track.
I think you've achieved that from day one. Aeroplane and tunes like that. There's nothing else that sounds like it, man, at all. And when you finished this, though, did you think, hang on a minute, this is weird? Will people get this? Or did you just think, you don't think like that, you just think, I like this?
No, I thought it was a good track. I was pretty into it when I was making it, and I played it to Andy, and he was banging to it from the start. I've just been surprised about the kind of people that have been playing it now, because it's had quite a bit of daytime.
It's had a lot of love, man,
which is great, and it's kind of bizarre for me, because it's such a hardcore drum and bass track, to hear it next to tracks by the Clipz or some.
But that's good though, right?
Music. It's great. It's wicked.
Right, we're going to let this spin. This is the track we've been talking about. Timewarp, Subfocus. Check this out, man. Drum and bass genius at its best. It's Fabio. It's Radio 1. It's Saturday night. It's Sunday morning.
Drum and bass in your face.
Radio 1.
Focus and the mighty Timewarp. When is that released?
That's coming out next week, June 16th.
So the TPs are out and stuff like that already, right?
That's right, the promo's already on the streets, so
the album, is it that kind of theme? Is it quite abstract, the album?
There's a whole heap of different stuff I've been working on. I've got some slower tunes, like I listen to a lot of slower music as well, so I tried to kind of show people where, you know, maybe my influences are coming from on the record. You know, there's a whole heap of different stuff. There's mellow drum and bass stuff on there, and it's pretty varied.
So you're going to go and make an album. You sit down around the scene, you say, yeah, listen, we're going to do an album. How do you even start an album, man?
It's tricky, man. I mean, I guess I think a lot of people have expected me to do one from a long time ago. I think, you know, originally I planned to do one in 2006, but I decided against doing that because I really wanted to wait until I had, you know, a batch of music that I felt sort of was varied enough to be an album. You know, I could have put out a bunch of dance floor stuff at that point. Most definitely.
You
know, but I wanted to wait and incorporate kind of things like vocals and do more recording. You know, I use a lot of guitarists now as well, and it's just, you know, I think it's important to kind of you know, do that format justice rather than just put on a load of dance floor tunes on a CD. You know,
and you DJ a lot. You know, I've seen you on the circuit for a good few years now. Does that ever influence what you do? Because I know a lot of artists find it difficult balancing the two. You know, they go out and they see what tracks are dropping and they tend to replicate, you know, big tunes, and they end up kind of losing their own sound. And you've never done that, which is,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, I always try not to release too much music, and I think I'm a real sort of perfectionist, and I basically I only sort of really want to put out music if I feel like it's different from what I've done before. And, you know, I think it's tricky playing out every weekend as I do, because you end up sometimes writing tunes that you know are for the floor, you know, whereas with an album you're like need a totally different head on,
yeah,
you know,
totally
to make
different
an album.
aesthetic, totally.
And it's like, you know, you want to create a CD that you can listen to from start to finish, which isn't like, you know, you can't really do that with just sort of very abrasive, like hard dance floor tunes, you know. So yeah, it's a tricky thing to balance that.
So, you know, Pendulum have gone out and they come from a rock background, and they've done a kind of a rock-based album, and they've done their live stuff. Now, listening to your stuff, I think, you know, translating it to live, I think would be very interesting. Have you ever thought about doing anything like that?
I have, yeah. I mean, it's very much just things floating around in my mind at the moment. I mean, I think it's fantastic what Pendulum have done with the live format. I think their show really, really works, and it doesn't.
For sure.
It's very hard to make drum and bass translate to a live format. I think if I was to do something live, it'd be much more along the lines of maybe what Chemical Brothers or Daft Punk do, which is something, because I mainly like electronic music, so I want it to be purely electronic, and, you know, and triggered sounds, and, you know, me kind of recreating the songs live, you know, from the parts, rather than getting a band to play everything.
For sure.
You know, I like that sound of really sort of mangled electronic sounds and really produced sounding, you know, drums and things, and you can only really do that if you choose to kind of you know, if you don't do the band route and you kind of choose to trigger the parts and do the live thing that way.
Yeah, that can be really interesting, because I know what you're saying. I've seen Daft Punk in Montpellier like about 8 years ago, and I've got to say is one of the best live shows I've ever seen in my life. And that's because everything sounded amazingly produced, and it was like you was in a huge studio, man. And I think they wanted to make it sound computerized, and it did, and it sounded amazing. So I know where you're coming from in that, man.
I love that vibe, man.
And if you have to do that, I think that's a great idea. I think you should go for that, because I think, like, on a show level, I think that could really work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, listen, we're going to play this abstract techno track, which is the kind of prototype for Timewarp. What's the name of this track, man?
This tune's called Mouth to Mouth, and it's by a guy called Audion. And actually, Andy introduced me to this tune because he knew that I was listening to a lot of techno stuff.
Okay.
Some of the kind of minimal techno, and I'd check a lot of electro stuff as well. And I really I have been getting a lot of influences from there and new ideas from that sort of music. And I had just heard this sound, which is probably going to come in a second from this, and I really wanted to recreate it. So I spent a bit of time making it on a synthesizer, and that's kind of how Timewarp was born out of that.
Wicked, that is incredible. Let's hope they don't try and do you for plagiarism.
It's a little bit different.
We've got Sub Focus in the house. It's Sub Focus, it's Fabio, it's Radio 1, it's Saturday night, it's Sunday morning, it's the Drum and Bass Show.
The home of UK drum and bass. It's Fabio on Radio 1. It's Fabio, it's Fabio, it's Fabio, it's Fabio, it's Fabio, it's Fabio, it's
just joined us, where you been? That's my new catchphrase. We've got Sub Focus in the house. We're going to let this track spin for a little while because it's pumping. It's Fabio, it's Radio 1, it's Drum and Bass. Sub Focus in the house, and the track you can hear in the background, a track that has influenced the Timewarp. What is the name of that tune, man? That tune is sick.
That's called Mouth to Mouth, man.
Because listen, I'm coming from like back in the day, techno,
right,
like early Detroit stuff. Those guys were my heroes in the 80s, and that is very similar, man.
It's got a bit of a flavour, hasn't it?
It's got a bit of a kind of Detroit-y, kind of industrial feel, but
that's right.
Very well produced. Who's that by?
Yeah, that's by a guy called Audion, which is an alias of Matthew Deere.
Okay.
He might be from Detroit, actually. He's an American guy.
Sounds very much so. And so, like, you know, do you listen to a lot of kind of glitchy electro kind of stuff as well?
I wouldn't say necessarily glitchy. I listen to, I'm really into sort of Ed Banger stuff, which is, you know, guys like Justice and obviously people like Daft Punk as well, which I've kind of influenced that sound. You know, there's a lot of good guys coming out of France now, which are, you know, making kind of, it's much more noisy, sort of distorted stuff than this. But it's great, that stuff, because it does sound to me like kind of very drum and bassy in a way. It's all the sounds are very distorted and,
for real, man.
you know, it's got, I think, yeah, there's quite a lot of common ground between all these sounds, and I'm just trying to sort of link that up a bit, really.
Well, don't you think? I think, you know, I've been speaking with a lot of people recently about, I think electronic music has got a lot more interesting over the last 2 years. I think there's a more of like a pattern forming or a link between these tunes now, man, and in sound, in kind of distortion, and in like music being a bit more discordant than it's ever been. And I think that's really, really interesting, man. And I can really hear that in your sound a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I think that's really been my sort of mission. I've been really inspired by a lot of other sorts of music in the last couple of years. I think there's been a real sort of dance music kind of renaissance almost, you know, of good new stuff, and I'm just trying to kind of connect all the stuff together, because there's a lot of parallels in other sounds to drum and bass. And
I think what's really interesting as well, you know, everyone has a different take on drum and bass, and you know, whereas speaking to Hazard a few weeks ago, his kind of like history comes from like even Motown and reggae.
Right.
Speaking to Pendulum, they were kind of like come from a very similar background to yours.
Yeah.
And then Simon Bassline Smith, he comes from real Chicago house kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you come from, your entrance point is different as well. Do you know what I mean? I think it depends on where you come in.
It does, yeah.
But then at the same time, it's all drum and bass, and it's all under that banner. And I think that's what makes drum and bass so special in a way, man. And you know, that you can incorporate these sounds in this music, man.
I mean, that's something that I've always enjoyed about the genre, is that you can play a set and you can play from stuff that sounds like house music to stuff that sounds like, you know, techno, to really jump up drum and bass, or, you know, there's just such a lot of variation there, and I love incorporating it all into one set.
I mean, yeah, because I've heard your sets before, man, and you do go through the kind of whole scope of drum and bass, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I think more DJs should do that. I really do. I do find, if anything, going out with drum and bass, a lot of DJs are a bit one track and one dimensional, and I think, you know, it does work, and I do understand, you know, that feeding off the crowd and everyone screaming for a rewind. It is a great feeling, but I think some DJs get addicted to that slightly, and you know, sometimes, you know, just building a set is more interesting for the punters, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I like taking, you know, doing sections where you take people down a little bit, and, you know, and then take it right up again at the end. And
for real, man.
You know, it's good to show people the different styles a little bit, I think.
Well, talking about different styles, we're going to play a track from your album. This is a world exclusive. No one's heard this before, so it's a real pleasure that you brought this along. And this is something a little bit different. And we was talking earlier about the Commix album, and there was a lot of really interesting electronic sounds on the album. And this is a very kind of glitchy electronic kind of thing from what I just heard. What's the theme behind this next track?
This one is kind of again, it's kind of a bit techno influenced, and I was just trying to I don't know, there wasn't any great plan behind it, but I kind of started working on a few melodies and just brought this whole thing together. But I wanted to make it sound, I guess a bit techno-y, you know, in terms of like the sounds I'm using. It's all very synthetic, and you know.
And what's it called?
It's called Follow the Light.
Wicked stuff. If you just joined us, See, it is becoming quite funny, but it is going to start becoming real annoying if I do it too much. But if you've just joined us, where have you been? We've got the mighty Sub Focus in the house. We've got loads more to come. We're playing some old, some new. Brand new bizzle from Sub Focus. It's Fabio. It's the drum and bass show. It's Radio 1. We have got Sub Focus. And this track's on Nightlife 4, so it's not an exclusive. It is kind of, though. So, Andy won't mind. Right, the Drum and Bass Show fan site. Quickly, we've just got a few names of people that have joined us in the past week. Also, remember to check out my video diaries. Pictures from the show, everyone from Shy FX to Hazard, Simon Baseline Smith to Johnny L, Eveson, and hopefully tonight we're going to have Sub Focus up on there as well. But big shout going out to Andy Morrison in London, Robbie Allen in the University of Central Lancashire, Lee McCartney in Portsmouth, and Nick Brooks in Oxford, Braden Toms in Rickmansworth, Alex Bowker in Eastport Manor High School, and Nicholas Walwine in the Hinchinbrook School. And this is international love going out to John Hillman in Denmark, Rennie Sugar Bee in Toronto. I know you, Rennie. Simon BCee in Belgium, Benjamin Christian in Japan, Al Killer in France, Theo Kafitis or Kafitsis in Greece, Jacob Arabis in Mexico, and Marco Dukic in Australia. If you've not joined yet, be part of my group. Go to my page at bbc.co.uk/Radio1, click on the link to Facebook and become the member of the Radio 1 Drum and Bass Show fan site. That was a mouthful, man. Have you ever thought about doing any radio Sub Focus?
The thought has crossed my mind, man.
For real, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it must be really good fun to come out and play whatever music you want, and you know, see it being fun, man.
You know what, radio? I tell you what's so great about radio. You don't have an audience to please as such. Yeah. You know, you go out and you know, no matter what the crowd is, you play for them slightly, and you don't have to do that in radio, and that's why I absolutely love it.
It's
I recommend
liberating.
it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So listen, let's go back.
Yeah.
Andy C, of course, like, you know, a real legend in the game.
Yeah.
How did the hookup with Andy C come about? Because Andy does pick and choose people, like he handpicks people. He doesn't just choose anyone to come on Ram, man. So
yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, I was it was complete sort of out of the blue. My friend actually gave him a CD at a gig that he was at, and he just called me out of the blue a week later. I didn't even know that he'd been given the CD at the time, so it was a real surprise, and it was wicked because I'd had a bit of interest at that point, but Andy was very decisive and decided to, you know, sign all 3 tunes straight away, which was great. And you know, we just worked with each other over the years, and he's you know, been massively supportive for me, you know, and it's been great.
And that's great, you know, to have someone supporting the cause, you know, and you're not going to a huge corporate company. And I think over the years, a lot of the bigger names in the scene have decided to look after their artists and know how important it is when you have got someone as talented as you are to look after him and have a good working relationship as well, which I think you and Andy definitely have.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think it's great when you know, I love to see when things work out well in an organic way, because, you know, with independent labels, you know, they don't do well on the back of marketing their music. They do, for sure. They do well because the music is popular, you know, and it you know, people latch onto it, and so it's a great sort of really organic way of working. And you know, we've got a great sort of setup at Ram, and you know, it's a real pleasure to be working with them. And
also to have like Chase and Status, who are also on Ram, and they're also doing great, like really interesting out there stuff.
Yeah. There's some wicked artists. I mean, also there's a new guy called Culture Shock. He's
got
doing some wicked
stuff
as well, and obviously Example, and you know, there's a wicked roster there at the moment, man. It's really, really strong.
Looking good.
So yeah.
So listen, we're going to play another track. Is this from the album? This track?
This is from the album, and this one actually is a world exclusive. It's a tune that I've been starting my sets with a lot. So if you've heard me play recently, you've probably heard this one.
And what's it called?
And this track is called Let the Story Begin.
And we'll do that. It's Fabio, it's Sub Focus, it's Radio 1. We have got D&B on the BBC coming up a little bit later. We've got Dillinja recorded live in the mix. We've got a little bit of Gully. We have got Nothing's popping before the end of the show. A couple more tunes from Sub Focus. So don't go anywhere.
Now let the story begin.
Is crazy. That is deep, man. Where did you get that? That sounds. A lot of your sounds very reminiscent of the 70s. Maybe Vangelis, Giorgio Moroder.
Yeah.
Them kind of guys.
Yeah. I'm pleased you say that, man. That's definitely a sort of key influence for a lot of the stuff that's on the album. You know, I've been listening to a lot of old kind of synth kind of composer type dudes, and I really love the sort of old sounds that those guys use, man. So
you know what was incredible about these guys as well? They had probably the most basic. Can you imagine the equipment that they were doing?
Well, they had some incredible machines, but actually putting the tracks together
and making them make sense.
So hard, you know, like recording them onto tape, track by track, and it's
incredible,
like, so different, man. Yeah.
So a tune like this, how long would it take you to do a track like this, man?
This track actually came together incredibly quickly. You know, I started off with the intro idea, and then that main sound, you know, was something I was working on. So actually, a few hours before a gig, that one came together. But then it takes me sort of days to really sort of finalise the tunes. You know, I'm a real perfectionist like that. So.
Incredible. So listen, the album's going to be, is it a definite release in September or?
It's early autumn, man. It's early autumn. We haven't got a confirmed date as yet, but it's dropping around then. Yeah.
And have you got a name for the album?
There is no name. There is no name. I'll let you know as soon as there is.
That's a good name for the album. There is no name.
Yeah.
I actually really like that stuff.
Yeah.
You think about that one. So and the DJing stuff, you're doing a lot of festivals this summer,
That's
etc.
right. Yeah. I'll be. I'm going to be at Glastonbury very soon, which I'm looking forward to.
No way, man.
Which is the first time I've been asked to play there, so I'm really.
It's the one. It's the one. You know,
wicked. You know,
you can do all the festivals in the world, and that's the one, innit?
Yeah.
I think it's the ground it's on, man. There's something just special about that.
Yeah, there's something special about that, man.
Wow, you're going to blow the roof off in that place, for real. I'm
looking forward to that a lot. And I'm also at Global Gathering, a whole bunch of places. Festival, I think.
Wow.
Dower Festival, I've heard that's very good. That's in Belgium. And yeah, looking forward to the summer, man.
And quickly before we go, MySpace and stuff like that. What's your MySpace, man?
Yeah, it's www.myspace.com/subfocus.
And you on Facebook?
No, not as yet, man. Not as yet. I'm thinking about it though.
What the hell, man? Yeah. Listen, it's the one, you know.
You guys have got a Facebook group, haven't you?
Yeah. But it's the one. It is the one. You know what? For kind of like business and media stuff, MySpace is great. But for personal stuff, Facebook is probably a little bit better.
That's the thing, yeah.
Have you got the time, Subfocus? You know what I'm saying?
Not really at the moment, man. I mean, a lot, practically every one of my friends uses Facebook for actual socialising, but I don't really know if I want to sort of dedicate that much time to doing that.
Yeah, for real. I know it is a bit kind of time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, I just want a site on on MySpace where people can hear the new music
For
and
sure.
you can update everyone what you're doing.
Okay, and remind us once more, Timewarp is out.
It's out on June the 16th, so that's this coming Monday.
Well, listen, man, many thanks for coming in. I think the album is going to be one of the exciting electric moments of the year, like in electronic music, full stop. From what I've heard, it is really out there and you've put a hell of a lot of work into it. And, I hope everyone opens their ears and listens to something that is definitely going to be different, but is definitely sounding special from what I've heard of it, man.
Yeah, thank you, Fabs.
And you take care. We'll probably give you a phoner when the album's out, man, and see how you're doing.
Wicked, mate.
And have a good summer, all those festivals, and be careful. Many thanks to Subfocus.
Cheers, buddy.
And let's quickly, before we go, the last tune, you introduce this, man.
This is a slightly older tune of mine called Airplane, and it was came out in 2006. And it's probably one of my favourite tracks that I've written over the years. It's kind of a personal one.
And it stood the test of time, hasn't it? Even though 2 years drum and bass has kind of morphed a lot in that time, this track still sounds like it was made yesterday.
Yeah. I think it still still stands up. I still play it in a whole load of my sets. So I think people still enjoy this one.
Wicked. And catch Subfocus when you can, when he's on the road. He's a great DJ. Check him out at Glastonbury or any of the festivals you see him at. Go and check out Subfocus. Subfocus, I thank you.
Big up, Fabs.
Right.
Easy.
Radio 1.
Wonderful. Aeroplane. Sub-Focus from a couple of years ago on Ram Records. Go check it. Timewarp out next week. The album out in September. A real interesting guest. Many thanks to Sub-Focus for coming in. Watch out for the album in September. It's going to be one of the albums of the year, no doubt. Right, we've still got loads of stuff on the show. Dillinja recorded live in the mix. We've got D&B on the BBC with DJ Bailey. He's got a bit of Gully for us. We've got a little bit of Gully before the mix as well. It's all popping. It's all going on. It's all Fabio. It's all Saturday night. It's all Radio 1. Brand new from Commix. I know they're already working on their next album. So big up to you guys. Also big up to Chris from Metalhead. Big shout going out to Goldie. Big shout going out to all my Swerve crew. Friction was in the house last week. Absolutely smashed it. We're going to have Friction on the phones next week. And we've got some great guests coming up. We're going to tell you about that straight after this. Some Untitled business from Commix. One of those tracks so fresh, it hasn't even been named. Untitled Business from Commix. They got some killer new stuff. Hopefully before the end of the show, in my little gully section coming up, I'm going to spin some badness for you. Just to remind you, Timewarp is going to be available on pitch disc. It's also going to be available on digital download on iTunes and, of course, on vinyl and all the other formats you can get music on. You'll be able to get Timewarp on. And you catch that, because that is going to be a big, big, big tune. Right, now, you know we've been doing D&B on the BBC. We've had Nerm, we've had Decode, we've had Annie Mac, we've had Zane Lowe on. We've had all of the Illuminati of Radio 1 come and play their favourite D&B tune. Now we have got a D&B specialist in the house from One Extra, the one and only Bailey, and he's just busted down the door to tell me this.
Radio 1. Radio 1.
What are you saying, Fabs? It's Bailey. You know I represent with the One Extra Drum and Bass show on Wednesdays from 10 o'clock. I've got a big tune for you right now, you know. I just play everywhere. I play at Swerve, I play at Metalheads, I play on the radio. I mean, every time I'm on the turntables, this tune has to play. It's by Jubei and Tyrone. It's coming out on the Invaders Transmissions label called Tremor. This tune is the one for me. Trust me.
Filthy, dirty, grime, heavy, messy, colour, deep and dark, drum and bass.
Great to hear from DJ Bailey. Remember, catch his show each and every Wednesday, One Extra Business. And the track that he played for us, a track called Tremor by a guy called Jubai, a really talented, underrated artist, and he's got some killers out there. Next week when I go in Gully Deep, I know I keep saying it, it's becoming like a broken record, me saying this, because a lot of people like Fab, listen, you keep on talking about this Gully thing, right, and you're not really coming up with the goods. But we have got very limited time tonight, but we're going to do a little bit of Gully for you before the mix. But next week, I promise you, we're going in. Like, we're going in hardcore. And earlier on I said about guests, forthcoming guests. Next week we've got on the mighty Utah Jazz, the Sample King. He's got an album dropping real soon, and he's going to come and tell us about all them killer samples he's using. Some old, some new. That's going to be very interesting. So Utah Jazz in the house next week. We've got Dillinja recorded live in the mix coming up real soon. A little bit of Gully before that. Brand new from another guy making statements out there, Break. Track entitled Timeline, loving this. Send it one out to Steve Survival, to Chris in Perspective, to Fierce, to Nico, to Trace, all of them cats. Also not forgetting Black Sun Empire, Noisia. Representing as we do. It's Fabio, it's Radio 1, it's drum and bass, baby.
It's Saturday night, it's Radio 1, it's drum and bass time.
Bass time. Bass time. Bass time. Bass time.
big shout going out to Damien Bennett. Yes, sir, I know you're listening and I know you're digging these grooves. Right, we haven't got long left, actually. It was a great talk with Subfocus. You know, when someone's, you know, that interesting, you've got to give him a bit more time, and he's a really interesting guy. Next week, as I said, we've got Utah Jazz. We are finishing our mixes tonight, unfortunately, with Dillinja recorded live in the mix. That's coming up in a few minutes' time. But who else can bring you this kind of stuff, man? You know, D&B is a buzzword at the moment, but who else could bring you Alex Perez? Who else could bring you High Contrast? Who else could bring you Andy C, Ronnie Size, recorded live in the mix? And now we have a guy that was last year presented an award with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the One Extra Awards. Dillinja. So we've got some legends up in the place, and he's coming up real soon. Also, later on Radio 1, Ras Kwame. Of course, it's always about the best of British with Ras. He has got Wiley. And big up to Wiley, because I know Wiley loves his drum and bass, and had a big hit with Rolex, and respect you, sir. You've been waiting your turn, and it's popped off to you. He has got Wiley up in the place a little bit later. Big up to you, Ras Kwame. Keeping it British, keeping it real. As we are. And we're going to have our podcast back real soon, so if there's any interesting podcasts out there and you want to drop us a line and tell us about a podcast you've been listening to and you feel deserves to be on air, drop us a line or send us some love at bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. And if you haven't joined our fan site, now listen, right? Phil told me last week it's 2,000, we're 2,000 deep. I don't think that's good enough. No, I don't, Phil. I actually went home, I was a bit perturbed about that. 2,000 ain't good enough. Now, the Facebook limit is 5,000. I want to hit the limit. Right, so if you want to join our group and you've not yet joined, go to my page at bbc.co.uk/Radio 1, click on the link to Facebook, and become a member of the Radio 1 Drum and Bass Show fan site. And we want to hit the 5,000 mark by the end of July. So I'm giving you a bit of time here. Like, we've got like 6-7 weeks to make this happen. We want to hit the 5,000 mark on the Facebook bizzle, and that will be a big achievement for me. So please make it happen.
One time. Oh, yes.
A track entitled Locution by Nympho. That is his name. Spelled Nymfo. I'm liking that though, man. Bit of deep gully business. One more from the gully selection and then we go into more gully with the grimiest man in town, Dillinja. Recorded live at Detonate in Nottingham. Big shout going out to James. Oh, he played at Swerve the other week. Smashed it. Great DJ. So big up to you. Also big up to Brian G. All the V-Camp. Also big up to Jordan. All the crew. Bigging up my daughter Cass. And she's been telling me she loves the gully. And that's no joke. And also big up to my crew in Norway. I was in a place called Trondheim, and this is no word of a lie, it did not go dark. I went to the gig at 1:30, it was like it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, everyone's walking around like it's daytime, no one's tired, it was broad daylight. I actually thought I was in a parallel universe or something, it was bizarre. Went to the club, great night. Came up, it was broad daylight, 3:30 in the morning. It was utter madness. I had to run in the hotel room and dive under the covers. That's how deep it was. I don't know how they live like that, but incredible stuff. So big up to all the Trondheim crew, Marius, everyone that made that happen down there. And also big up the lovely Elena, who looked after me wicked down there in Oslo. And also the mighty large. Named so because he's got rather big feet. Say no more. So big up to the whole Oslo crew. Had a wicked night down there as well. To everyone that was in the club, this was a track that got rewound 3 times. It's Serum. It's a track called Believe You. This is proper gully business. It's Fabio. It's Radio 1.
Try to believe you. try to believe you.
Wicked stuff. I've got to big up Ray Keith, everyone down there at Dread Records. That's the sound of one of his boys, Serum, a track entitled Believe You. And believe me, that is it from me tonight. Coming up a little bit later, Wiley and Twin B, they are going to be standing in for Raz Kwame. Of course, Wiley of the Wearing My Rolex fame. So check that out, that's going to be hot. Respect to my boy Phil, he's been pressing those buttons, he's been keeping it real, he's been keeping it real tight round here as well. So many thanks to Phil. Next week we have Utah Jazz. And he's coming in, going to be speaking about his album. I'm going to be asking him where does he get those wonderful samples from. Coming up, we have a legend. It is late, come on, you've got to excuse me. A living legend, Dillinja. A guy that was brought up in South London. I've known this guy for years and years and years and years. One of the true creators, one of the true legends of the game, and a great DJ to boot. We have got Dillinja recorded live in the mix at Detonate in Nottingham. It's the last one of our series of mixes, so check it out. Coming up, Dillinja recorded live in the mix, Detonate.
Somebody make some noise! Show you how it goes. Take it down to the take it down low. It's not the wickedness low. Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey. We come to get it about my paper, get it about my flow, get it about my paper, get it about my paper, get it about my flow. Oh, hey, hey. Give me some of that. 5, 2, 4, the journey starts right here. Yeah! Racing up the atmosphere. These D&B Chart change for your ear. Better go to the microphone, you better get prepared. Oh yeah, I think that some of them starts right here. Oh yeah, taking all the parties over here. Oh, 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 oh! Sun's going on! People at the front shop, people at the back shop. Let the DJ call the attack. People at the side slide, get from left to right. Running up the plane, jumping the thing at the horn. Boom, shack to the morning door. Moving to the left, sliding to the road. Yo, Liberty, I know you got that shit, you got them hard. What's the ride? DJ Liberty! Switch! And is anybody having a good time? Somebody say yeah! Listen. Are you ready? The steady build up, the steady build up. Hey, 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 hey. Who was telling? Down with the buffet, down with the vibe. Never need to finish because the sun. Bounce, bounce, bounce. We're gonna slam from the ground, from the bounce, from the ounce, ounce. Some technical shit going on over here. Some here. Here it comes. Now it's on the beat, it's on the way, come wait for the make the band, the bass high. Get ready to move, you on with the vibe. Meet up with the side to side. On the good in the line. Back to the bit of the dark side. No time for the gate, time for the bass. Never gonna flex it. Never gonna flex it up and up. Never gonna mix it up and up. Go to the bit of the beat, now stop, pop, pop. Never gonna make you rock it up. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, baby, got that boom, boom. Hey, yo! Blah, 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 on the mic chamber. I'll be the ranger star. We're gonna fuck wow. So listen now, time to take it from the top. Like this, down to take off inside the witness. Now check this, I'm the grounder. Never sit, never miss. I'm no shaking to the darkness. Do that shit, do that shit. Do it, do that shit, do that shit.
This is Radio 1 and you're in tune to the award-winning drum and bass show with me, Fabio, with a very special guest mix from Dillinja, recorded at Nottingham's legendary D&B night, Detonate.
The home of UK drum and bass. It's Fabio on Radio 1.
Massive like you're listening. Excited, but I don't find them as having it. I start with chocolate, mix it up and double it. Get with it, move with it. Coming like a mandatory. Books like a blip flap. No need for wings, wide chat. Liberty, plenty of time. microphone rocking easily. Look up the mic and hunt and smash up Germany. I got better kind of flow. MC from Canada, and it's home to yo. With my mom is on the door. You wanna run and get us down there? Nah. MC Predator, never go from manager. Vicious, the energy's not losing interest. When they come to top of bass, all the people listen. 1, 2, back 2. It's one for the baby crew. She's gonna kick up the road and the one to the rhythm and the long and the score. Somebody taking you more. I did up with road from the core, road to the dance floor. When I say we want, you say more. We want, we want. When I say we want, you say more. We want, we want. Let me be inside the house. Do that shit, do it! Bad boy sound, going up, bad boy sound, ladies, bad boy Sweet! Somebody make some noise! One, early morning ravers, the graveyard shift. Hit it! Dillinja, Levantine.
It's the Radio 1 Drum and Bass Show. Detonate. Blah.
Radio 1.
Radio 1.
No problem like I'm dashing, comedy assassin, step on the paper crashing, flashing, smashing, make up to the keep bashing, my middle name is Sassin, the hot energy is dancing, sound the iron cracking, smacking, backing, infrared attacking, microphone get out packing, but it wouldn't make so jacking, crash, I'm slacking, who's waving, punching, crunching, leaning, okay, but I'm out again and screaming, sometimes all they get for me is I'm hot, so I'm steaming, but the drum and bass got the feeling, hot got never see I'm dealing, coming round the stop the stealing, some messages to keep me gleaming, you that's my style, it must be dreaming, hot and box, I'm always signing, snow weed, I'm believing, everyone went for it till I spin that thing, it's a kid of it, ring, ring, DJ, never D, time to roll it in, roll it, come on, hands up, I gotta move and step, move it to the right and understand it to the left, sounds of the biggest and the baddest and the best.
It's the Radio 1 Drum and Bass Show. You're listening to the mighty Dillinja recorded live in the mix at Detonate in Nottingham. Who else could bring you this from Radio 1?
We got that different brew, we got the different blend, and you got to understand that we do send. Fairness on the mic and keep it rocking to the end. Let me dig inside the place with a mix and the blend. If you're having a good time, somebody say bow. Somebody say bow.
The award-winning Radio 1 Drum and Bass Show with Fabio. Radio 1.
Who's ready for the danger? Let's speed it up, let's speed it up. Oh, my energetic ravers. We're on the speed engine, the one that goes up. We're up on the gun, the filter. Thinking of the house, let me drop ya. And you don't move to enter. MC, gladiator. And the super eliminator. Fuck on drum and bass hater. Bang in the bush, the moon selector. DJ makes the mix of radar nature. Let them know major. And the big bomb of our traitor. Spanish in right header. Boom, boom, boom. Jumping like that, boom, boom. Some chill. What's that? What's that? That's what DJ does to this. Sometimes this could never miss. Oh my God, so come and quick now. What's the matter with it on the list? Flying this. What is this? What was this? Have a get this. Put it on the mic. Taking a bit back for DJ. Now some of the list. We jump at 9. We jump at 9. We jump at 9. We jump at 9. We jump at jump at like this. Jump at 9. We jump at 9. We jump at jump at 9. Jump at like this. Let me detail this. Whoa! Kill him in the bad boy flavor. Kill him in the bad boy flow. I'm an outcast. Put him on the mic, I transform. I'm gonna sound the build to last. Dark, put him on the night talk. Dark, put him on the bar, the bar. Put on the mic, push him door. Come back and drink them to the big store. Dark, put him in paper. Love that shit, take up the heart. That's what we in charge. Free, put him on the beat for the stars. Oh man, she's jumping large. Come in the place like it hard. Second space to the second card. Make them stick around the yard. Step up to the avenue. Gonna pick it up in the jar. Step to the front after dark. Watch it up in the trance. Living tongue out in heart. And fast. Drink that pen and blue glass. Smoke strong and don't give a gas. So that man didn't give my heart. It's time to play your part. Part. Time to play your part. Dig that lemon, dig it up and start from the heart. Play your part. Play your part. Boom selector. Raw. Swear. When I say DJ, you say stop it. DJ. Somebody say yeah. DJ never need. That should be done. Party ravens is on the place. Out there some fun. It's out to one of the mixing on. Come on. Right around the way, bass and switching. Got the mic and busting right, know that I'll be itching. And that's the next he's slipping. It's gonna get the kicking. And this is the shit, I'm in the wanna hear no bitching. Shining, blinding, blinging, stinging. Busting with the back till it's all singing. On the ground, booking down, start and the bringing. Jumping monkeys out to make the whole start ringing. Is there anybody out there? Outside the naked white boys at the front. Jump, 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 jump. Around the microphone, rockin' news to do. To walk the mic and run the stars down Germany. Blood present on the Overflow. MC from Canada, and the Tokyo. Let my pockets with the dough.
on Radio 1.
Hope you're enjoying the mix. You're listening to Dillinja, recorded live in the mix at Detonate in Nottingham.
Close your eyes, time to settle down. Listen, let the DJ touch it down inside your town. You're feeling unstuck, time to take a breath. We cut the rock and turn your ankle, not a left. We have the bass, they rock the place, they put the case, but not the way. Here comes the taste. But I love what DJ touch it down and drop the bass. Drop, bass, drop, bass. Somebody get your hands in the air. Alright, please, Steve, Ivory, the chemistry, G.E. Real, MC Rock, the Kendo, Big Bass Rugger. On the venue. The flavor forever, and the trumpets got flavor for. We said boo boo boo. Yeah, we got the boo boo boo. Boom select. Raw. Anybody feeling good out there right about now? Just taking in some drum and bass sound. Jump around, round, round, round.
Fabio, it's the Radio 1 Drum and Bass Show. That's almost it from us tonight. We've brought you a massive show featuring two of the brightest stars of drum and bass, Subfocus in the studio with a world exclusive first play from him, and of course Dillinja recorded live in the mix at Detonate, a wicked set from him. If you missed any of the show, listen again at bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. Stay with Radio 1 tonight. Right after me, you've got the One Extra Takeover at 4. Then at 5 in the morning, you've got Wiley and Twin B standing in for the mighty Ras Kwame, who's on holiday. Check us out next week. We've got Utah Jazz in the studio. We've got some gully business. It's Fabio saying, I'll be seeing you.